Have you ever met someone and felt the world stop for a moment? Not a word spoken, just a glance. And suddenly, it's like your soul recognizes theirs, like you've known them for lifetimes. Your heart whispers, "This is it." And something inside you shifts forever. That's not just a fleeting moment. That's what Carl Jung called synchronicity, when two souls align on a frequency so powerful, no force in the universe can keep them apart. Today, we're diving deep into why these connections happen, what they mean, and how to know if they're your destiny or just a lesson in disguise. Through real-life stories and practical steps, inspired by Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, this video will change how you see your relationships and yourself. So, stick around, because your soul might just be ready for this truth. Have you ever felt an instant connection with someone, like your soul was speaking a language only they could understand? It's not about butterflies or sparks, it's deeper. Like a quiet hum in your chest that says, "I know you." This is what Carl Jung called synchronicity, a moment when two souls align, not by chance, but by a cosmic pull that defies explanation. These encounters aren't random. They're the universe whispering that your soul is ready for something profound. In this chapter, we're diving into what synchronicity really means, why it happens, and how these rare moments can change your life forever, whether they last a lifetime or just a fleeting second. Let's start with a story. Meet Anna, a 29-year-old artist living in New York. One rainy afternoon, she wandered into a small art gallery, seeking shelter from the storm. As she stood in front of a vibrant painting, a stranger approached her. His name was Leo, a soft-spoken writer with a warm smile. They didn't exchange small talk or awkward introductions. Instead, they began discussing the painting, its colors, its emotions, its hidden stories, like they'd been friends for years. Hours passed, but it felt like minutes. Anna left the gallery with a strange sense of peace, as if she'd rediscovered a part of herself she didn't know was missing. That chance meeting sparked a deep friendship that inspired Anna to create her best work yet, a series of paintings that sold out in weeks. What happened between Anna and Leo wasn't luck. It was synchronicity. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist who revolutionized how we understand the human psyche, described synchronicity as a meaningful coincidence. It's when two people cross paths at the exact moment their souls are vibrating on the same frequency. This isn't about shared hobbies or perfect timing, it's about energy beneath our daily routines, our conscious choices, and our endless to-do lists. There's an invisible thread connecting us to others through a shared rhythm of the soul. When that thread tightens, you feel it. It's the stranger who feels like home, the conversation that flows effortlessly, the silence that doesn't need to be filled. But why does synchronicity happen? Carl Jung believed these moments are the universe's way of guiding us toward our true selves. They're not accidents. They're signals that your soul is ready to grow, to heal, or to awaken. Think of it like a radio tuning into the right station. Most of the time, we're surrounded by static people, places, and experiences that don't quite resonate. But when you meet someone who's on your wavelength, the static clears, and you hear a melody you didn't even know you were searching for. That melody is a reminder of who you are at your core, beyond the masks you wear or the fears you carry. Here's the thing. Synchronistic connections don't always look like romance. They can be friendships, mentorships, or even brief encounters with strangers. Take James, a corporate lawyer who felt stuck in a life that didn't feel like his own. One day, while waiting for a delayed flight, he struck up a conversation with an elderly woman named Clara. She shared stories of her travels, her regrets, and the courage it took to start over in her 50s. That 20-minute talk shifted something in James. He went home, quit his soul-draining job, and started a non-profit to help underprivileged kids. Clara didn't become a lifelong friend, but her words were the spark that set James on a path to purpose. What Anna and James experienced is the essence of synchronicity, a moment when two souls meet to mirror something vital within each other. These encounters awaken parts of you that have been asleep: your creativity, your courage, your truth. They don't happen because you planned them or because you're ready in the traditional sense. They happen because your soul is cracked open just enough to receive a deeper truth. Carl Jung believed that synchronicity is tied to the process of individuation, the journey of becoming your whole, authentic self. Every synchronistic meeting is a step on that path, a signpost pointing you toward who you're meant to be. But let's be real, not every connection feels like a warm hug from the universe. Some synchronistic encounters are intense, even unsettling. They might bring up emotions you've buried or challenge beliefs you've held for years. That's because synchronicity isn't just about comfort, it's about growth. The people who enter your life at these pivotal moments aren't always there to stay. Some, like Leo for Anna or Clara for James, are catalysts, sparks that ignite change and then fade away. Others might linger longer, becoming partners or friends who walk beside you. Either way, their role is the same: to reflect a part of your soul back to you, whether it's your light or your shadow. So, how do you recognize synchronicity when it happens? It's not always dramatic. It might be a quiet feeling of ease, like you can finally exhale. It might be a conversation that feels like it's picking up where it left off in another lifetime. Or it might be a sudden clarity about something you've been struggling with. The key is to listen to your intuition. Your soul knows when it's in alignment, even if your mind can't explain it. Pay attention to those moments when time seems to slow down, when you feel seen, heard, or understood in a way that feels almost otherworldly. Here's a practical tip. Start a synchronicity journal. Write down the moments when you feel an unexpected connection with someone. Note what you were feeling before the encounter, what happened during it, and how it affected you afterward. Over time, you'll notice patterns, signs that these meetings aren't random, but part of a larger tapestry guiding your growth. This practice not only deepens your awareness, but also helps you trust your intuition, which is your soul's compass in a noisy world. As we move forward in this video, we'll explore what these connections mean and why some feel like destiny while others feel like lessons. But for now, let this sink in. Synchronistic encounters are gifts from the universe, wrapped in human form. They're not here to complete you, but to remind you of the wholeness you already carry within. So, the next time you feel that spark, that hum, that quiet knowing, don't dismiss it. Lean into it. Your soul is trying to tell you something, and it's always worth listening. What if every person you meet is holding up a mirror to your soul? Not the kind you check your reflection in, but a deeper kind, one that shows you the parts of yourself you've been avoiding, the wounds you've buried, or the strengths you've forgotten. Carl Jung believed that every relationship, every encounter, is a reflection of your inner world. The people who cross your path aren't just random players in your story. They're mirrors, revealing your fears, your growth, and the truths you're not ready to face. In this chapter, we'll explore why the people you attract reflect who you are, how they show you where you still need to heal, and what to do when the mirror shows you something you don't want to see. Let's dive into a real story. Meet John, a 35-year-old marketing manager from Chicago. John had a pattern. Every relationship he entered ended the same way, with him feeling abandoned. His partners would start off warm and attentive, but over time, they'd grow distant, leaving him chasing their affection. He blamed them, calling them emotionally unavailable or cold. But after his third breakup in 5 years, John started to wonder if the problem wasn't just them. One night, scrolling through a self-help forum, he stumbled across a quote from Carl Jung. "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." It hit him like a lightning bolt. What if his partners weren't the issue? What if they were reflecting something deeper within him? John started therapy and uncovered a painful truth. His fear of abandonment stemmed from his childhood. When his father left without explanation, that wound, buried deep, was shaping his relationships. The cold partners he attracted weren't random, they were mirrors of his own fear, showing him a belief he hadn't faced, that he wasn't worthy of love unless he fought for it. Every time a partner pulled away, it triggered that old wound, making him cling harder, which only pushed them further. The mirror was brutal, but it was honest. John realized that to break the cycle, he didn't need to change his partners, he needed to change himself. This is the power of the mirror principle in Carl Jung's philosophy. The people you meet, especially the ones who trigger you, are reflecting parts of your psyche, your shadow. As Carl Jung called it, the shadow is the hidden part of you, the insecurities, fears, and unhealed wounds you push down. When someone frustrates you, hurts you, or makes you feel small, they're not creating those feelings, they're revealing them. That coworker who dismisses your ideas might be mirroring your own self-doubt. The friend who never shows up when you need them might be reflecting your fear of being unimportant. These mirrors aren't here to punish you. They're here to teach you. They show you where your soul still bleeds, where your healing is incomplete. But it's not just about pain. Mirrors can also reflect your light. Think about the people who make you feel alive, who inspire you to be better. They're showing you the parts of yourself that are healed, confident, and whole. Take Sarah, a single mom who spent years feeling invisible after a messy divorce. One day, at a local book club, she met Rachel, a vibrant woman who saw her strength and encouraged her to start writing again. Rachel's belief in Sarah wasn't just kindness, it was a mirror reflecting Sarah's resilience, a quality she'd forgotten she had. That encouragement led Sarah to publish her first blog, which grew into a thriving online community. Rachel didn't create Sarah's strength, she reflected it, helping Sarah see what was already there. So, why do we attract certain mirrors? Carl Jung would say, it's because we attract what we are, or, more specifically, what we haven't healed. If you carry unprocessed pain, like John's fear of abandonment, you'll draw in people who trigger that pain. If you struggle with self-worth, you might attract those who test your value. This isn't the universe being cruel, it's the universe being consistent. Your energy, your frequency, pulls in people who match it. Pain attract pain. Wholeness attracts wholeness. That's why healing isn't just about feeling better, it's about changing who you attract. Here's where it gets practical. The next time someone triggers you, don't just react, reflect. Ask yourself, what is this person showing me about myself? If they make you feel unworthy, is it because you're still carrying a belief that you're not enough? If they make you chase their approval, is it because you're seeking validation you haven't given yourself? Write down the emotions they bring up and trace them back to their roots. Maybe it's a childhood memory, a past betrayal, or a story you've told yourself for years. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about empowering yourself, because once you see the wound, you can start healing it. Try this exercise. Create a mirror journal. Each time you feel a strong reaction to someone's anger, hurt, or even joy, write down what happened and what it made you feel. Then ask, what part of me is this reflecting? For example, if a friend's criticism stings, you might realize it's touching an old insecurity about being good enough. Over time, this practice helps you spot patterns and take control of your healing. John did this and found that every time he felt abandoned, it wasn't about his partner, it was about that little boy, still waiting for his father to come back. By facing that pain, he started choosing partners who valued him, not ones who mirrored his old wounds. One last thing, mirrors don't just show you what's broken, they show you what's possible. When someone walks into your life and makes you feel seen, loved, or inspired, they're reflecting the version of you that's already healing, already growing. Don't just thank them. Thank yourself for doing the work to attract that kind of energy. Because the truth is, the people you meet are a reflection of the work you've done or the work you still need to do. So, when the mirror shows you something painful, don't run from it. Lean into it. That discomfort is the doorway to your growth, the key to attracting connections that don't just spark, but last. As we move to the next chapter, we'll explore why some connections feel like destiny, but fade away, and how to know when a soulmate is here to stay or just here to teach. For now, take a moment to think, who in your life is holding up a mirror right now? And what are they showing you about yourself? Because that reflection, as hard as it might be to face, is the first step to becoming the person you're meant to be. Have you ever met someone who felt like your destiny, only to watch them walk away? The connection was electric, like the universe handpicked them for you. You thought, this is it, this is forever. But then, as quickly as they came, they were gone, leaving you with a heart full of questions and an ache that lingers. It's easy to feel cheated, to wonder if you imagined it all. But here's the truth Carl Jung would want you to hear. Not every soulmate is meant to stay. Some people enter your life like a storm, powerful, transformative, and temporary. They're not here to be your forever. They're here to awaken something within you. In this chapter, we'll explore why some connections burn bright and fade fast, how to recognize a karmic connection, and why letting go is sometimes the most powerful act of love. Let's start with a story. Meet Sarah, a 32-year-old teacher from Seattle. After a string of toxic relationships, she met David at a friend's wedding. Their connection was instant. Conversations flowed until dawn, and silences felt like warm embraces. Sarah felt seen in a way she never had before. She thought David was her soulmate, the one she'd been waiting for. But 6 months later, David started pulling away. He moved to another city for a job, and their once vibrant connection faded into sporadic texts. Sarah was devastated, replaying every moment, wondering what she did wrong. It wasn't until she stumbled upon Carl Jung's idea of karmic connections that she found clarity. David wasn't her forever partner, he was her catalyst. Their time together pushed Sarah to confront her fear of being unlovable, a wound from her past. His departure forced her to start valuing herself, leading her to therapy, and, eventually, a life filled with confidence and purpose. This is the heart of Carl Jung's philosophy. Not every soul you connect with is meant to stay. Some are karmic connections, people who arrive to shake up your world, challenge your beliefs, or spark a transformation. They're not here to build a life with you, but to break open the parts of you that need healing or growth. Carl Jung believed these encounters are tied to the process of individuation, the journey to becoming your whole self. A karmic connection might feel like destiny because it's so intense, but that intensity is often a sign of its purpose: to disrupt, to awaken, to teach. They're like a mirror held up at the perfect angle, showing you a truth you weren't ready to see. Why do these connections hurt so much when they end? Because growth is painful. When someone enters your life like a wildfire, they don't just light up your world, They burn away the illusions you've been clinging to. Maybe they show you that you've been settling for less than you deserve. Maybe they trigger a wound you've ignored for years. Or maybe they remind you of a dream you buried long ago. When they leave, it feels like loss. But it's really a gift in disguise. They've done their job. They've pushed you closer to your true self. The pain isn't a punishment. It's a signal that you're evolving. Think about Maya, a graphic designer who met Alex at a creative workshop. Their chemistry was undeniable. They collaborated on a project that felt like pure magic. But after a few months, Alex became distant, and their partnership fizzled out. Maya was heartbroken, but that ending forced her to pursue her own creative vision. She launched a solo project that became her biggest success. Alex wasn't meant to be her lifelong collaborator. He was the spark that reminded Maya of her own talent. His exit wasn't a failure, it was a redirection, guiding her to a path she wouldn't have taken otherwise. So, how do you know if a connection is karmic or meant to last? Look at what it's teaching you. A karmic connection often feels like a roller coaster, intense, chaotic, and full of highs and lows. It might bring up old wounds or force you to face uncomfortable truths. A lasting connection, on the other hand, feels like peace. It's not about drama or obsession, but about mutual growth and ease. Ask yourself, does this person make me feel like I'm chasing something? Or do they make me feel like I'm home? If it's the former, they might be a lesson, not a destination. Here's a practical step when a connection ends. Don't just grieve, reflect. Write down what that person brought into your life. Did they challenge you to grow? Did they reveal a fear or belief you need to heal? For Sarah, David's departure showed her she was seeking validation from others instead of herself. For Maya, Alex's exit taught her to trust her own creativity. Use a journal to process these lessons. Write, what did this connection teach me about myself? What part of me grew because of them? This exercise turns pain into wisdom, helping you see the purpose behind the goodbye. Letting go is the hardest part, but it's also the most powerful. Clinging to a karmic connection past its purpose is like trying to hold onto a storm. It'll only leave you battered. Carl Jung would say that letting go is an act of courage, a choice to honor your growth over your fear of being alone. It's not about forgetting the connection or pretending it didn't matter. It's about thanking it for what it gave you and trusting that the universe has more lessons and more love waiting for you. Here's one final tip. Practice gratitude for the people who come and go. Instead of asking, why did they leave? Try saying, thank you for what you taught me. This shift in perspective transforms pain into empowerment. It reminds you that every soul you meet, no matter how briefly, has a purpose in your journey. They're not mistakes, they're messengers. And when you let them go with love, you make space for the connections that align with the person you're becoming. As we move to the next chapter, we'll dive into how true love begins with wholeness, not hunger, and how healing yourself changes the kind of souls you attract. For now, take a moment to reflect. Is there someone in your life who feels like a storm? What lesson might they be here to teach you? Because when you embrace that lesson, you're not just letting go, you're stepping closer to the life you were always meant to live. What if the love you're chasing is already inside you? We grow up believing that the right person will complete us, fill the voids, and make everything feel right. But Carl Jung would tell you that's a trap. True love doesn't come from finding someone to fix you. It comes from becoming whole within yourself. When you heal your wounds and embrace your own worth, you stop attracting chaos and start attracting peace. In this chapter, we'll explore why wholeness is the foundation of real love, how to start healing yourself, and how that shift changes the souls you draw into your life. Let's start with a story. Meet Mark, a 40-year-old architect from Los Angeles. For years, Mark chased relationships that left him drained. He fell for partners who were emotionally distant, always hoping his love could save them. But every time, the pattern repeated. He'd give everything, only to be left feeling empty. After a particularly painful breakup, Mark hit a breaking point. He took a break from dating and started therapy, where he uncovered a hard truth. His need to fix others was a reflection of his own fear of being unlovable. Growing up, he'd internalized the idea that love had to be earned through sacrifice. That belief kept him stuck in cycles of heartbreak, attracting partners who mirrored his own lack of self-worth. Carl Jung's philosophy offers a powerful insight. Here you attract what you are, not what you want. If you're carrying unhealed wounds like Mark's fear of being unlovable, you'll draw in people who reflect those wounds. If you're hungry for validation, you'll attract those who test your worth. But when you cultivate wholeness, you shift your energy, and the universe responds. Wholeness doesn't mean being perfect or never feeling pain. It means facing your shadows, healing your past, and giving yourself the love you once sought from others. When you do that, you stop chasing intensity disguised as love and start attracting connections that feel like peace. So, how do you become whole? It starts with looking within. Carl Jung called this the process of individuation, the journey to integrate all parts of yourself, including the ones you've pushed away. For Mark, that meant confronting his childhood belief that he wasn't enough. He started small journaling about his fears, practicing self-compassion, and setting boundaries in his relationships. Over time, he rebuilt his self-worth, not by seeking approval from others, but by giving it to himself. A year later, Mark met Lisa, a kind and grounded woman who valued him for who he was, not what he could do for her. Their relationship wasn't a wildfire of drama. It was a steady flame of mutual respect and growth. Mark didn't attract Lisa because he was fixed. He attracted her because he was whole. Let's be clear. Wholeness isn't about never getting triggered or having all your problems solved. It's about taking responsibility for your healing, so you don't expect someone else to fill your voids. Think about Emily, a young entrepreneur who spent years chasing passionate relationships that always ended in chaos. She thought intensity was love, but it was really her unhealed insecurities playing out. When she started working on herself through meditation, therapy, and reconnecting with her passions, Emily noticed a shift. The people she attracted were no longer emotional roller coasters. They were calm, supportive, and aligned with her values. Her new relationships didn't feel like a desperate grab for validation. They felt like a celebration of the person she'd become. Here's a practical framework to start your journey to wholeness. Inspired by Carl Jung's teachings, 3 steps to inner healing. First, face your shadow. Your shadow is the part of you that holds your fears, shame, or unresolved pain. Journal about the patterns in your relationships. Ask, what keeps showing up? What wounds are these people reflecting, for example? If you keep attracting partners who don't commit, maybe you're carrying a fear of abandonment. Naming the wound is the first step to healing it. Second, forgive yourself and others. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing bad behavior. It means releasing the emotional weight that keeps you stuck. Write a letter to yourself or someone who hurt you. You don't have to send it. Acknowledge the pain, then let it go. For Mark, forgiving his parents for their absence was like lifting a boulder off his chest. It freed him to stop seeking their approval in his relationships. Third, build self-love. This isn't about bubble baths or affirmations alone. It's about treating yourself with the respect and care you'd give a loved one. Set boundaries, pursue your passions, and celebrate your progress. Emily started saying no to relationships that didn't serve her, and yes to her dreams, like launching her business, That shift in energy attracted people who respected her strength, not exploited her vulnerabilities. Why does this matter? Because when you're whole, you stop settling for less. You stop chasing people who only offer crumbs of affection. You stop confusing drama with passion. Instead, you attract souls who match your energy, people who don't need to complete you because you're already complete. These connections aren't about filling voids, they're about amplifying joy. They don't feel like a struggle, they feel like home. One final tip: practice gratitude for your own growth. Every day, write down one thing you've done to nurture yourself, whether it's setting a boundary, facing a fear, or simply resting. This builds a habit of self-love that radiates outward, attracting people who see and honor your worth. Mark did this and noticed that the more he valued himself, the more others valued him too. As we head to the next chapter, we'll explore Carl Jung's ultimate challenge, finding yourself before finding love, and how that journey unlocks the connections you're truly meant for. For now, ask yourself, are you chasing love from a place of hunger, or are you building it from a place of wholeness? Because the love you seek starts with the person you're becoming, and that person is already enough. What if the greatest love story of your life isn't about finding someone else, but finding yourself? Carl Jung believed that the deepest connection you'll ever have is with your own soul. Before you can attract the relationships that truly align with your essence, you must embark on a journey inward, a journey Carl Jung called individuation. This is the process of becoming your authentic self, not the version shaped by fear, expectations, or pain, but the one that radiates your true light. In this chapter, we'll explore Carl Jung's ultimate challenge to stop searching for love in others and start discovering it within. Through real stories and practical steps, you'll learn how to face your shadows, embrace your wholeness, and attract connections that honor the person you're meant to be. Let's start with a story. Meet Lisa, a 28-year-old graphic designer from Austin. Lisa spent years feeling like she was living someone else's life. She chased relationships that felt exciting but left her empty, always trying to be the perfect partner, funny, agreeable, never too much. But no matter how hard she tried, she felt unseen. One day, after a breakup that left her questioning her worth, Lisa stumbled across Carl Jung's concept of individuation in a psychology podcast. It was a wake-up call. She wasn't living for herself. She was living for others' approval, determined to change. Lisa started therapy, began journaling, and took time alone to reconnect with her passions. She rediscovered her love for painting and started creating art that felt true to her soul. As she grew into herself, Lisa noticed a shift. The people she attracted were no longer draining. They were kind, creative, and supportive, mirroring the confidence and authenticity she'd cultivated within. Carl Jung's challenge is clear. You can't find true love until you find yourself. Individuation is about integrating all parts of who you are, the light and the shadow, the strengths and the wounds. It's not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming whole. When you do this work, you raise your energy, your frequency, and you start attracting souls who resonate with that authenticity. The relationships you form aren't based on need or desperation, they're based on mutual respect and growth. But this journey isn't easy. It requires courage to face the parts of yourself you've buried, the fears you've ignored, and the stories you've let define you. Take Michael, a 45-year-old teacher who felt stuck in a cycle of unfulfilling friendships. He was always the giver, the one who listened and supported, but rarely felt seen in return. Through therapy, Michael realized he was carrying a childhood belief that he had to earn love by being useful. That belief kept him surrounded by people who took more than they gave. Inspired by Carl Jung's teachings, Michael started his individuation journey. He began saying no to relationships that drained him, and yes, to activities that lit him up. Like writing poetry. As he embraced his authentic self, Michael attracted new friends who valued his voice. Not just his support, his relationships became a reflection of his newfound self-respect. So, how do you start this journey of self-discovery? Carl Jung's process of individuation isn't a quick fix. It's a lifelong commitment to knowing yourself. But you can begin with 3 practical steps. First, confront your shadow. The shadow is the part of you that holds your fears, shame, or suppressed desire. Journal about the moments you feel triggered or unworthy. Ask, what belief is this tied to? Where did it come from for Lisa? Journaling revealed her fear of being too much, a belief rooted in her teenage years. Naming it allowed her to challenge it and start showing up authentically. Second, spend time in solitude. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's sacred space to hear your own voice. Take yourself on walks. Meditate. Or write. Without distractions. Michael found that quiet evenings spent writing poetry helped him uncover his true desires. Free from others' expectations. Even 10 minutes a day of intentional solitude can reveal insights about who you are and what you want. Use this time to ask, what makes me feel alive? What have I been afraid to admit about myself? Third, practice gratitude for your journey. Every step you take towards self-discovery is a victory. Write down one thing each day that you're proud of. Maybe it's setting a boundary, trying something new, or simply being kind to yourself. This builds a habit of self-appreciation that strengthens your core. Lisa started a gratitude journal, noting small wins like painting for herself or saying no to a draining friend. Over time, this practice shifted her energy, making her a magnet for people who celebrated her authenticity. Why does this matter? Because when you know yourself, you stop settling for connections that dim your light. You stop chasing people who don't see your worth. Instead, you attract souls who align with your truth, people who don't need you to shrink or perform, but love you for who you are. These relationships feel effortless because they're rooted in authenticity, not obligation. They're not about filling a void, but about sharing the overflow of your self-love. One final tip, trust the process. Self-discovery is messy and non-linear. There will be days when you doubt yourself or feel lost. That's okay. Those moments are part of the journey. Carl Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." Keep looking inward, even when it's hard. Every step you take brings you closer to the person you're meant to be and to the connections that reflect that truth. As we head to the outro, we'll wrap up with a powerful call to embrace your journey and attract the love you deserve. For now, ask yourself, what's one truth about yourself you've been afraid to face? Because when you embrace that truth, you're not just finding yourself, you're unlocking the door to the relationships that will change your life. Your soul is calling you home. Every connection, every heartbreak, every fleeting moment of synchronicity has been guiding you to this truth. The greatest love story starts with you. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that when you embrace your shadows, heal your wounds, and step into your wholeness, you don't just attract love, you become it. Those souls who align with your authentic self, they're not here to complete you, they're here to celebrate you, to grow with you, to light up the world by your side. So, take the challenge, look within, face the parts of you that scare you, because when you do, the universe responds, pulling the right people into your orbit, not by chance, but by the power of your own transformation. This is your moment. Don't wait for someone to save you or complete you. Start today. Write that journal entry. Take that walk in solitude. Say yes to the truth of who you are. The connections you dream of, the ones that feel like home, are waiting for the version of you who's brave enough to become whole. So, what's your next step? Share it in the comments below. Maybe it's a lesson you've learned, a synchronicity you felt, or a truth you're ready to face. Let's inspire each other to keep growing. If this video stirred something in your soul, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a step on this journey of self-discovery. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because the world needs more people living their truth. And don't forget to like and comment to keep the conversation going. At Jung Psyche Hub.